Yeah, welcome to part 4, and this part now we're going to create these kind of circular, hosey looking pipey things. I don't know what they are, but we're going to create them using just to show some of the basics of the NanoMesh, or sorry, the ArrayMesh features now in 4 or 7. So before we do that, I just want to solo this out, and we're going to hollow the inside out a bit here. So in order to do that, I'm just going to switch back to skin shade. So to do that, we'll just use QMesh and tag some of these faces first using Alt, and I don't know if it's going to work all together at the same time, but we'll try it out anyway. So QMesh, single poly. Ooh, it's gone all weird. So we'll just have a look at the low res, see what it's like. Not too bad, not too bad. Maybe we're just gonna we'll just move these back. So we'll tag these and use our move tool. So you have to click on an edge and we'll just move them back. Now we're going to want to add obviously some creasing in here now to from where that newly created geometry is. So we can just use I'll just hold down space on an edge and we'll crease single edge, and we'll just click through some of these edges. Make sure that symmetry is still on. Yeah, it is. So just click through these few more edges. Now you'll notice probably here from the clicks I'm using the mouse. So I don't really like using my Wacom for this type of stuff. I only ever use it for sculpting. So yeah, that's why if you're hearing the clicks, it's me trusty mouse. Right, let me see. I'm missing something somewhere, and that is because now we're going to need some control edges in here. So hover over an edge, insert edge loop, and we'll just add some control edges. You see that went all the way up and around, and we'll add one in here, and that also went all the way up and around. Now we're still getting, let me see, this is on 2, let's change that to 4. I just want to make sure. Don't think that's creased. No, I don't think that's creased, so I forgot to crease these edges here. You can see now that's much better. And don't, oh yeah, sorry, I didn't crease these either. I was thinking it looked a bit bubbly. So let's finish off here now. So you can always tell when you're just going between your high and your low res. You can always tell by what's called the isoline display here. If that looks weird, really weird, well then you know something's gone wrong, and you need to check your geometry. So we just have to do them, and that looks, yeah, that looks grand now. Just check it there, and yeah, we have that hollowed out now. So now we're going to create so make sure to save that. Yep. And now we're going to create our the weird pipey bits from the NanoMesh. Right, so I'm just going to change to any old cylinder 3D or anything like that, and make polymesh and then we're going to create a Q cylinder in along the Z axis. Remember, that's the axis that, and we created everything else off along the reference. So once you have that, just make sure to click make polymesh 3D again, because for some reason you can't make mesh when you're using ArrayMesh with one of these Q tools, quick tools. So just make sure to check that, and you'll know then the poly group color and it'll change. So I'll just actually, we might as well just use the reference and bring it down here, and I'm just going to scale it right down and kind of move it into position. We'll turn off the floor, and then you want to just come down into the ArrayMesh drop down. I'm only going to go over the very basics of this just to give you a quick idea of it. So you want to just activate it there, click ArrayMesh, and you have Lightbox presets and everything. You can open and save different ones, depending, you know, if you have a really complex one that you've created, you can always save it and then reuse it with different geometry. So there's a million different settings here, but we're only going to use a couple of them. We're only really going to touch on it. So you can use the sliders and the buttons here, or you can just use transpose. So let's say I'm going to click transpose, and now we can just we can drag out, and that's our first copy. That copy was already there. Once I clicked ArrayMesh, this repeat jumped to 2 automatically, and it was just directly aligned with the existing geometry. So see this repeat out here, I can grab that now, and I can drag, and you can see the number is going up, and then I can move them out. So in our case here, if we turn on the floor, we can see that I think there's 6 or 7 of them or something like that. I'll just move these in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we'll change our settings to bring it up to 8, and just hold down shift with the transpose and bring that in. Now these are all instances, so all we need to do is change this one, and the rest of them are going to follow suit because they're instances. So back to our Zmodeler-Brush, and I think I'll just I'll turn off the floor, and I'm just going to hide the ArrayMesh there because I can't really see what the hell I'm doing. Okay, so I'm going to go into QMesh, flat island or else polygroup island, QMesh out, and then I'm going to hover over an edge and scale edge loop complete, and I'm just going to bring that right in, and then I'm going to QMesh again just so that gold penetrates into the one in front of it. Now for the back here, we're going to inset. I'll just inset maybe once, twice, and then we can just use our QMesh polygroup island and start QMeshing, and then just hold shift just to pull it in, and I'll change this to, we can leave, suppose we can leave that at 2. I'll change it to 3 maybe, just to give it a bit more smoothness. And now we can just add in some control edges, or else we can just crease. So I'll probably use crease in this case. So we'll just hover over face, crease, polygroup island, polygroup border, just click the crease, maybe crease, and we'll leave that one, maybe crease this one, and just have a quick look at what that's like. And I'm going to just take this one here and just scale it out, just to round that off a bit. And I think actually this crease, it's too much. Crease, edge loop complete on the edge, and I'm just gonna alt click, get rid of that. It's actually a bit too severe. So what I will do is take this and we'll scale it down. So make sure you have edge loop complete on. Scale that down, and then we're going to add in some control loops using the bevel. So bevel 2 rows, and then we can just do a tight bevel to give us kind of a sharp edge. And sorry, you can't bevel that. So what we want to do there instead is just hover over face, and or maybe we'll just crease that one actually, just to give that a nice tight edge, and turn off polyframe. And we're going to turn our ArrayMesh back on now, and you can just use this. You can use the transpose here, or just use this one of the sliders. So we'll turn our floor back on, and set that up to fill mode 3. It's kind of difficult to see, so what I might do is set that back to 1 and just grab our clip curve and maybe just clip off the back, and just grab the transpose line again and move that in slightly. So to there, and I think we might call that we might call that good. Let me see, is there anything else? Yeah, I think that might do us there. I'm just gonna unsolo. Let me see. Oh yeah, sorry, this isn't a subtool there yet. So yeah, I think we'll go with that, and then we can always just copy that, duplicate the subtool, drop it down, and we might actually do that now. Let me see. So I'll just duplicate that, and doesn't seem to, I think it's maybe because it's I'm just going to take it out of ArrayMesh mode, and just bring that down, or duplicate, and now we'll adjust just maybe the size, and then we can stretch it out, make it a bit fatter. Just get a look there, size, and now if we I'm just going to start it back here so you'll be able to see that through the hole, and then we'll turn ArrayMesh back on and bring our count. Just turn it off for a second, and we've 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just bring our count down to our, sorry, 6, including this one here at the back. ArrayMesh, so we'll bring that down to 6, and then we'll just bring that in. I'll just turn that off again, and maybe change the geometry around a bit. So I'm probably going to just maybe bring those out, just make it a bit fatter there. Clear the mask, turn ArrayMesh back on again, and yeah, I think we might go with that. So I'm just going to jump back to our main model here, into subtool, and we'll append this. Where's the first one? Oh yeah, it's still the 2 subtools. So we'll append the bottom one there first, and now we want to select that bottom one, and I'm just going to turn on transparent, move, and then we'll just drag this bottom one out here. Sorry, I'm going to have to, because it's not a mesh yet, it's still the instance thing, so I'm just going to have to turn off ArrayMesh, bring it over, and it's just inside, and then we'll bring it across and turn ArrayMesh back on again. Just get an idea now. Turn off transparent, see what that looks like. Now one thing I want to check, go back to solo. We want to hollow that out a bit as well on the inside. So what we could do there easily enough is to just let me see what we could do there is I'm just going to add another edge loop in here, back to our Zmodeler-Zbrush, and we'll add another edge loop in about the same thickness as the one above, and then we can just tag these faces. Make sure nothing else is tagged, and simply hover over the face and delete those faces. And now yes, okay, so what we'll do is maybe turn off array and transparent again. Just move it a bit. It's not interpenetrating there, but it's a bit far away from that, which I'm not entirely happy about. So what I might do there is, I think we'll make mesh out of this one, and if we click on auto groups there, each one of them will get their own group. Let me see, solo these out, see what they look like, maybe if they're clipped on the side, just to flatten them out. Might look a bit better and also serve the purpose of not interpenetrating there, so that we could move them across, move them back in a bit so they're not as far away. Maybe bring them a bit closer together. So all I'm doing here is, because they're all separate poly groups, I'm just control clicking, and then it's going to mask everything else bar the one that you control clicked, so you can manipulate it then. Bring that in a bit tighter, and then unmask the whole lot, and maybe bring them across like that. Sorry about this, I'm just kind of deciding on what I want to do, really. I'm going to just clip them again. And now we can turn off transparent mode again and bring them in a bit closer. And I think we'll go with that. Yeah, doesn't look too bad. Now obviously, as you've seen there, you can design your own bits there. It's quite simple, and add them in instead, but for the moment I think we'll just go with that. so I'm not taking up too much of your time. Now I'm going to jump back to this, and this bottom one here, I'm just going to delete that now. We don't need that anymore. And back in here again, and we'll append this other one here. Now the ArrayMesh isn't done. Oh yeah, I think I've made a mesh of that already. So we'll do the same thing here. I'm just going to go to move, and sorry, alt click. Instead of going into the subtool list, you can just alt click on the subtool in the canvas and it'll automatically activate it. Oh sorry, yeah, that was ArrayMesh is on. That was the other one that was active. So what we'll do is we'll just make mesh, and then we can see now it's just converted it straight over to a mesh. And I'll bring it over. That seems to fit nicely in there. No penetrations yet. That's pretty good. Now we can just mirror and weld the next. And the same for this one. Mirror and weld. And there we go. So we'll just go back to our lovely mass shiny material. Maybe try a different one. Oh, I like this one actually. What's it called? Grey Clay. Ralph Stump Grey Clay Extreme. Yeah, I think we'll go with that. Maybe I will. Maybe bring them closer together, or maybe I'll tell you. Actually, I might scale these up. Sorry, not those ones. These ones. Alt click. Scale them up a bit, and bring them down, and maybe just bring them across a little bit. Now are we interpenetrating there? We are indeed. What we did there. Yeah, I don't really like the way they're so far back. So I think what I might do is go back to this subtool here and turn a poly frame on. Now I'm just going to back to our Zmodeler-Zbrush, hover over an edge and move, and now I'm gonna, sorry, that should have edge loop complete. Sorry, slide, yeah, edge loop complete. I'm just going to slide that in, and now we can move that over again, just so it's a bit closer. And we'll do the same up here, but obviously we can't slide the edge loop. So I'm just gonna solo this for a minute, and then we're gonna tag these faces here. Oh no, sorry, we'll be able to just use flat island. So back to our Zmodeler-Zbrush over a face, and there's no slide with the faces, so we'll just use move and flat island, and it should just move along the normals. So now if we unsolo, I think we might just live with that. This is actually sticking out too far, so that helps us, I suppose. So now we'll just turn on symmetry. Actually, I think it was it turned off? Just going to turn on symmetry, move it in slightly. Mirror weld was okay, and maybe move it out a touch more. And yeah, that's better there anyway. So I think we go with that. So that's the next part of the gun made, and let me see. In the next part, you're probably thinking I've left out this and the little pipes that's coming down from there, but I'm probably going to there'll be detailing and stuff to be done at the end, so I'll probably do them in one of the lessons further on down. I'll probably incorporate that maybe into this bits or whatever. So we'll move on now to the next piece. Alright then, I'll see you in the next part. Cheers, thanks, good luck.